Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Toss Klimos. Happy joining you guys for another edition of NBA Player Prop Parlay right here on the Guy Boston Sports YouTube channel. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Hope your week is going well so far. We've got a new day, which of course means a new NBA Player Prop Parlay to share with you guys. But first, guys, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, drop a comment down below. We are on the road to 100,000 subscribers. Help us get there a little bit sooner by hitting that subscribe button down below. We've got a three-leg parlay for tonight, but first, quick little recap of last night. We had a three-leg parlay. One leg got voided because Jalen Brunson didn't play. Donovan Mitchell's leg did hit. Unfortunately, the John Collins prop did not, but here's the thing, guys. Rain or shine, win or lose, I will be back here to do videos all the time, so it is what it is. It's unfortunate, it's tough, but I'm going to keep getting back on the horse, and we've got another parlay today, three-leg parlay for today to bounce back. I've handed out 5 player props so far this week. We've cashed on 3 of them. Overall in the year, we're still hitting our props at a 74.5% hit rate. So the props are there. Let's see if we can get the parlays cooking. Three-leg parlay. Let's not waste any more time, guys. Let's dive right in. First leg of our three-leg parlay, we are targeting the Pelicans-Pacers game, which kicks off at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going with Brandon Ingram of the New Orleans Pelicans over 24.5 points plus assists. I'm going to kick this over to the Outlier screen. Guys, if you don't know what Outlier is, they're the best sports betting tool on the market. Link in the description below, 7-day free trial to try it out for yourself. So now this is a juice line at minus 220, but again, we're throwing this in a three-leg parlay, so I'm not too concerned about that. It's available on DraftKings and on Caesars. The reason why I'm going this low is basically just because there's no other higher alternates, right? You go from 24.5 right to 27.5. So I'll take the juice line for the sake of getting a hit here. You see the data looks pretty good on this line. Brandon Ingram, he's cashed this in 8 of his last 10 games. You stretch that data to his last 20, still pretty solid. 12 of his last 20 games, it's a 60% hit rate. And if you look at the 2023 season as a whole, 68% hit rate. 36 out of 53 games this season, he has cashed this over for New Orleans. Ingram has not played the Pacers in a while, but the last time he played them on November 7th, 2022, he did cash this with 29 points and 2 assists pretty soundly. So the data is pretty good. Like I said, 68% hit rate on the season. He's got an 80% hit rate his last 10 games. You look at the right side of the screen here, defensively, the Pacers, second worst scoring defense in the NBA, giving up 122 points per game. And if you look at versus the small forward position, they are bottom 3 in the league, giving up 23.5 points per game. Assists-wise, they're actually a pretty decent team defensively against assists, but he's going to cover this mostly in points anyways, and their scoring defense against points is just atrocious. We've got a solid defensive matchup and solid data overall in the year for Brandon Ingram. That sounds like a recipe for success for the first leg of our three-leg parlay. All right, guys, second leg of our three-leg parlay. We are targeting the Cavs-Bulls game. It kicks off at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going with Evan Mobley of the Cleveland Cavaliers over 11.5 points. Again, this is an alternate line and is a little bit juiced. We got it at minus 185, but when you're throwing out a parlay, it's not that bad. You see here, Evan Mobley has cashed this in 8 of his last 10 games. You stretch that data to his last 20, 15 of his last 20 games, a 75% hit rate over his last 20 games. And on the 2023 season as a whole, 79% hit rate, 27 out of 34 games. Only 7 times this year has he failed to cash this line. At minus 185, that's pretty good value, honestly. Even at the minus 185 spot, it's not too bad. If you look at the head-to-head data, each of the last 3 times he faced off with Chicago, including the one time he's played them this year, he cashed this line. He doesn't absolutely destroy it, but 16 points, 14 points, 14 points. Pretty good head-to-head data. You look at them defensively, the Bulls, actually not a bad defensive team, 11th in the NBA, giving up 113 points per game. Versus the center spot, they're 12th, giving up 18 points per game. But Mobley does spend most of his time at power forward, especially when he shares the court with Jared Allen. Both are projected to play tonight. And you see here the Bulls bottom 5 in the NBA in points allowed to opposing power forwards, giving up 27 points per game. Again, Mobley plays most of his time at the power forward position, although he is listed as a center. They share the court with Jared Allen. I think it's a pretty good spot for Mobley here. It is the second night of a back-to-back for Cleveland. They had that crazy half-court game winner last night versus Dallas. We had Donovan Mitchell last night in that game. Evan Mobley has played 6 games this season on back-to-back with no rest. He's cashed this over in 5 out of those 6 games. So I'm not too concerned with the second night of a back-to-back. And some of those games he played under 30 minutes, he still cashed this. So I'm not too concerned with the fact that this is the second night of a back-to-back. Look at injuries. Now, I'm recording it earlier in the morning, but as of right now, the only injuries reported for Cleveland is Ty Jerome and Tristan Thompson. Everybody else should be fine. Of course, that could change closer to game time, but as of now, everything looks good. So I love this for the second leg of our 3-leg parlay. Cruising right along here, guys, on this Wednesday. We are already here at our third and final leg of today's parlay. Got a little tongue twisted there. Comment 5 down below if you made it this far into the video. We're cruising along today. This will probably be a quicker video than normal. But here we go. Third leg of our 3-leg parlay. We're targeting the Kings-Nuggets game, which kicks off at 9 p.m. Eastern time. We're going with Aaron Gordon of the Denver Nuggets over 15.5 points plus assists. Again, solid data here, guys. 7 of his last 10 games, he's cashed this over. He stretched that data to his last 20 games, still pretty solid. 12 of his last 20 games. And if you look at the 2023 season as a whole, 63% hit rate, 33 out of 52 games this year, he has cashed this over in points plus assists. Pretty good. And if you look at the head-to-head data, going through all of it real quick, each of the 3 times he's faced off with the Sacramento Kings this season, he has cashed this over. You see here on December 2nd, he had 17 points and 3 assists, 14 points and 2 assists on February 9th, and on February 14th, he had 25 points and 2 assists. So he's actually already played them twice this month, and he cashed it both times. The last time they played, he had a massive game versus Sacramento, and it makes sense. You look at the right side of the screen here, defensively, the Kings, bottom 7 in the NBA in points allowed, giving up about 118 points per game to opposing teams, and they are bottom 9 in assists allowed to opposing teams, giving up just shy of 28 assists per game. You look at specifically versus the power forwards, and yeah, it explains why Aaron Gordon is where he is. Right there, 27. They are bottom 3 in the NBA in points allowed to opposing power forwards, giving up 27.5 points per game. And they are the second worst defensive team in the NBA versus power forwards in terms of assists allowed, giving up 5.3 assists per game. You add that with the fact that he's cashed this all 3 times he's faced off with Sacramento this year, that makes this a pretty solid bet. And at minus 175 odds, you really can't beat it, in my opinion. Solid leg, third and final leg for today's parlay. So, all right, guys, here we go. 3-leg parlay for today. Really quick recap. We got Evan Mobley over 11.5 points, Brandon Ingram over 24.5 points plus assists, and Aaron Gordon over 15.5 points plus assists. You parlay all 3 of those legs together, you get a parlay of plus 252 odds. These are pretty higher odds legs. We are going for a hit here. We've had a little bit of a rough stretch. So this is kind of a bounce back parlay. We're taking really good spots. There's good data for all 3 of these. They are alternate lines. They're pretty high legs. Usually I don't like to go with the higher odd legs, but plus 252 is not too bad for a 3-leg parlay, and we're just trying to get some units back and get back in the win column. I feel like all we need to do is hit 1, and then we'll be back in our groove. So that is it for me today, guys. I appreciate you guys a lot. I know we've been on a little bit of a cold stretch with these parlays. Again, the player props we've been hitting, and I always tell you guys, if you don't want to bet my parlay exactly, you're free to take the props and do what you want with them. I see a lot of people in the comments that do that, and I'm happy. If I can win you guys money in any way, even if you just use one of my props in your parlay and it cashes, then I'm happy to help you. But of course, the goal of the show is to bet these parlays. So you can't run from the losses. We've been on a little bit of a cold streak. We are still profitable overall in the year, but we are definitely on a cold stretch of late. I'm hoping this will be the parlay that gets us back on track. But regardless, thank you very much, guys, for the support. For those who continue to watch, I know the viewership, because we've been on this little bit of a losing streak, has dipped down a little bit. You guys who continue to show up every day, you are the real ones, and I appreciate you guys. So thank you very much, guys. Hit the subscribe button. Hit that like button. We are going to get out of this funk. It's the law of betting. When you go down, you got to go up eventually. A little bit of a cold stretch, but don't worry. I feel like tonight might be the night we finally break out of it. And obviously with our Freaky Friday coming up on Friday, that 5-leg parlay, hoping we can get a little hot heading into that. So thank you very much, guys. Until tomorrow, when we're back with another NBA Player Prop Parlay, I hope we're all winners.